Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 43rd edition of the Hometown Musician Spotlight, coming to you from our bar. And I'm really excited to be here with Susan Williams and Darryl Wright. How are you?
Glad to be here, Paul. Absolutely.
We're happy to be here.
Nice. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
You know, I mean, I love the blues, especially recently. You know, I wasn't always into it. You know, I didn't really own any blues records, I'll be honest with you. I grew up a rock and roller. But in the last few years, I got to admit, it's just catching me. It's just catching me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And before we get into your musical genealogy, I just wanted to mention the Right Groove Jam. I love that. Is it the second Sunday?
Second Sunday of every month.
Sunday at
Main Street.
Main Street Pizza. Mm-hmm.
So,
in Crete.
Yeah. I have seen so many blues musicians besides yourselves that I never even knew of just from that jam.
I know.
I mean, and in no particular order, Stephen Hillshine, Sean McKee, Ramar Leach, Glover Washington, Ty Del Rose.
Yeah.
And I know there's so many more, but it's like, wow, that is like a little showcase for somebody, you know, to just go and have a great time. And the place has got great food too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Is
it's what we try to do is showcase different people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very fortunate to know so many wonderful musicians in this whole area. So we have a different guitar player or keyboard player and a different drummer every month.
Yeah.
So that people get a variety. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got that. My sister and I and my wife, we both love going there. So couldn't make it last Sunday. I had an event of my own that I had put together.
Gotcha.
But, so, Susan, okay, one more thing. Did you want to say something about that?
Oh, well, you asked how long I've been going on.
Oh, yeah,
the jam. I want to say 3 or 4 years.
Exactly.
3 or 4 years. Yeah.
That's a good place. It's just really, for me, it's actually probably the closest place to my home that actually has regular music.
There you go.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Feature, so.
Yeah. It's, the owners are just absolutely wonderful and we've become really good friends with them. And yeah, it's just an easy, comfortable, homey kind of feeling place to be.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So Susan, where were you? We're going to dig into the musical genealogy. Okay. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school?
Okay. I was, born in central Illinois, a little town called Fithian, which no one's ever heard of because it's the only one in the entire United States. 500 people. Woo.
Wow.
Yeah. So I grew up on a farm, went to Oakwood High School and to Eastern Illinois University. So just took piano lessons when I was a kid. Played clarinet in school bands, was always in choir. Our church choir, it was a very tiny church, so it was obviously a very tiny choir. And so one of my friend's mothers and I ended up taking the tenor spot. And I really, truly learned how to sing harmony from her in our church choir. And now doing harmony is like my favorite thing to do. Yeah. So, was in, school, musicals and that kind of thing, in elementary and high school. And then I don't know if you remember, a long time ago, there was a national group called Up With People.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there were local groups of that. And so there was a Central Illinois local group of that. And I was in that for a couple of years and that was super fun. And I just, the first probably 10 years of my adulthood, only singing I did was in church, And then, one day the church organist approached me after church and he said, I really want you to audition to be the vocalist in a band we're putting together. Which I was, of course, thrilled about, thought about it, never knew how to get into that aspect of music. And so I became, their vocalist. And there was no bass player because the keyboard player was playing the bass line, on the keyboards. And several months into it, the guitar player and the drummer, and they were nice guys, but they were having a moment, I guess. They started complaining about why I got paid the same as them when I was just the singer. Even though I sang 100% of the songs all night long. Well, anyway, it hurt my feelings. And so I went and talked to the keyboard player about it just to kind of vent. And he's like, Susan, go buy a bass.
Yeah, you show them.
Yeah, go buy a bass and learn how to play the bass. He said, you know how to play the piano, you know music theory.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, kidding. I would never have thought of that.
Yeah.
I would never have thought of that if he had not suggested that.
Light bulb.
And so that's what I did. So then I started playing bass after that.
What was his name again, by the way?
Gordon Wilson.
Gordon Wilson.
Yep. He owned a little music store, in Urbana. He has since passed away, but, best keyboard player I ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
So that's what got me started.
Yeah, pretty. So that and then when I asked Darryl, that first bass, do you still have that first bass that you went on?
I don't, only because, I ended up giving it to my stepson. When he was in high school, he wanted to be in a band with his friends and they wanted him to be the bass player.
Think about that a little bit later too. Yes.
Yep. He wanted to play bass. And so, at that time I had purchased a second bass. And so, so I gave that bass to him. Yeah.
Darryl.
Yes,
brother,
my man.
My
How are you?
Chicago brother.
Absolutely.
Where
dude.
were you? Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? What school did you go to?
I was born in Chicago, born in Mount Sinai Hospital, as a matter of fact. Spent the early part of my life pretty much on Chicago's west side. My first music teachers were my own relatives, my cousins, Mickey and Faye. It was piano.
Yeah.
But I tell you, man, I was drawn because my dad was a singer. And he had 3 brothers, and they had a gospel quartet. And a brother-in-law, who was also one of my uncles, had a gospel quartet. And I was really drawn to what they were doing very early on, because they could sing very, very well. And as I started dabbling in the piano more, one of my uncles also was a guitarist. So I would look at him and go, I would like to be doing kind of what he's doing. And they also had a bassist at the time, a young man who was studying at Roosevelt University. So I kind of left playing piano, had some knowledge, but I really wanted to get into playing bass. So my uncle let me use his guitar to practice bass playing on. And my dad made me a deal. He said, if you stay with this, I'll get you a bass. I will. 1 year later, I was still playing. He went out and bought me a bass. So from there, I started to just really dabble in tons of music everywhere. And growing up in Chicago's West Side, I was really influenced by a lot of different ethnic music too. Polish people, Eastern Europe, Jewish people, and the Latinos. So I was getting influence. The blues was already there.
Yeah.
Because the neighborhood I grew up in is Mighty Joe Young lived down the street. So that was built in. So all I had to do was just walk down there and listen.
Yeah.
My dad and them sang. So all I had to do was sit back and listen. And it's really funny. As I started to get a little better at playing bass, I found out I was emulating my dad's own bass lines that he would sing. Because they sang, a lot of times they sang a cappella. Sometimes they sing with all of them playing and singing together. But sometimes they would do with no music. And he would be dum, dum, ba-dum, dum, 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 ba-dum, dum, ba-dum, dum, dum. And I started to copying those lines. What he didn't realize is that I had been listening to him for years. So it was kind of ingrained. And then as you move forward, I started to become more and more, how can I say, I just had a thirst for just grabbing musical information. And another thing for me also, I didn't hear differences of genres. What I heard was 1, 2, 3, 4, that's music. That was always, and that was, I think, one of my gifts, is that I never heard things as ethnic. I heard it as, the polka goes like this. Oh, wait a minute. The Mexicans play something that's really similar to a polka. It all was the same to me as far as translating, because it's like, how can I say? If you understand the English language, you know all the words, but you understand the language. Yes. And it has a way that it works. So music was like that for me. Always has been like that for me. And I think one of the eye-opening moments for me was when my dad and I were once watching the Tonight Show. And he knew I really wanted to be involved in this. But he was thinking more economically. And I didn't quite get it, but this is what he told me. We're watching the Tonight Show. And we're sitting there, we're just watching. I'm always amazed by the guys that are playing in this band and playing live, doing what they're doing, and the different guests that have come on. So there's a skill level you have to be at. And I was looking at, this is a skill level here that, it'd be nice to be at this level. And my dad looks at me, he goes, that's the job you need to try to get later for these bands. Looked at him and went, later for the bands? It's like, I thought bands was like it. That's how you do that. He said, look, them guys on that show, he said, first of all, they play with somebody different every night. And the check is good. And I went, you know what? And I didn't quite get it. But then I figured out, if you're going to do this, prepare yourself for the long haul, if you can. And you won't be beholden to, if that band should fail, can you continue to work? Best information my dad ever gave me as far as the music business goes, because I was able to maneuver without having to be in a band dependent upon the success of the band, dependent upon the success of myself.
If I may continue with you for a moment, how did you go from that to being involved with Mavis Staples, and what was, how did that all?
Well, there's, once again, back in my neighborhood, there's a guy that I grew up with. I went to school with his brothers. His name is Wilbur Crosby. Wilbur was Mavis's music director. I was living in Phoenix at the time and getting ready to move back to Chicago. My parents were up in age. My mom was in her late 80s and my dad was close to 90. And I said, it's time for me to move back to Chicago, because I spent 20 years in Phoenix, living in Phoenix and playing. And I came back here, and when he called me and he says, I hear you coming back to Chicago. Yeah, he goes, would you like to play bass with Mavis Staples? And I went, well, Wilbur, yeah. He sends me a tape, because there was no rehearsal. They sent me a tape, and I sat down and studied the tape. And about 3 weeks, after I got back to Chicago, it was about 4 weeks later, I was on my first gig in New York with Mavis Staples. And from there, and what's really interesting is that I had saw her as a child in church more than once. My dad did take me around to see a lot of the gospel greats when I was 9, 10, 11 years old. I was with my dad a lot, an awful lot. And he took me to see, I saw Aretha Franklin when I was a kid, Johnny Taylor. I saw all of these people who they say, as they move out of gospel into secular music. And it was quite the experience. I saw a lot of these people when I was very, very small. And the immense talent that they had. And so I was all in. I was all in. But that's how I got that job playing with Mavis. It's through a neighborhood friend. We grew up together. He's a great guitar player and a great teacher.
So Susan, coming back to you. So we've got a bass now, and we're playing. When did you start collaborating with musicians outside of the church choir and start to hone your craft with the blues?
when I joined this band, that it was the church organist who asked me, but it was a band outside of church.
It was a band.
It was,
outside of church
it was.
too.
I'm sorry if I wasn't clear.
It
was a band outside of church, so we were just, we played a lot of special events and that kind of thing. So that's really how I got started. That band was like many different genres, so right away I was playing everything from, old standards, like Satin Doll, up to what was considered, the new music at that time. And I don't remember how long that band went on, but they didn't play real often. So then I started a band, of my own. And believe it or not, it was a country band. I grew up with two kinds of music, country and Western. Yes.
I love that movie.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, I was kind of already well versed in country music, and I love it still to this day. I do. And then that band just sort of evolved, I guess. We would go play in a bar, and people would ask for, some rock and roll. Yeah. And so we started throwing in some rock and roll with it. And so then it just, obviously the more genres you know, the more places you can book.
Yeah.
And so I continued like that for many years. And then as I got older, my voice got deeper and raspier.
Monty Ray.
Refill.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
Which, has turned out to work out really well for me.
Yes.
But believe it or not, I used to be a really clear soprano when I was young. But just, I think, playing the smoky bars, I was never a smoker, but playing the smoky bars, it happened. And so people are like, your voice really sounds like you could really do the blues really well.
Mm-hmm.
And around that time, I had moved to the south suburbs. And so I started going to every blues jam that I could find, and I just absolutely fell in love with the blues. So
what brought you to Chicago? What brought you to the area? Was there any happening in your life? I'm moving Central Illinois.
Well, let's see. I believe when I kind of went back and forth, believe it or not. I think I moved up here at one time for a relationship. And then another time I moved up here for a job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go back to Central Illinois and then think, why did I do that? I need to be back up here. So in 2016, I decided I just need to be up here for good,
Do you remember the first time you two ever collaborated on the same stage?
I remember the time we met on a stage.
Okay, you first met actually playing
on a stage.
On the stage, yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't remember the first time we actually played together.
No, because somebody had mentioned to her one time, it's too bad you guys both play bass that you'll never be able to play together.
That's what it was.
And I said, oh, well, I don't know why that can't be, because the orchestra has 4 basses, 4 cellos, 4 saxophone. I'm thinking orchestration now. If all these people can play together, then yes, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how you put it together. And in our case, I thought it would be really easy to do because Susan's such a great vocalist.
Yeah.
So that makes my job easy.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do is accompany and come up with some of the right voicings for the songs.
Yes.
So that's how we ended up starting to do it this way. And it was a test. We were testing. What I would do is if I didn't have a job to play, I would go to Susan's job and bring my bass. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm trying to learn her songbook of what she does and how she interacts with the other players on the stage. Yeah. How do I make myself fit? Mm-hmm. So a lot of it was playing but listening at the same time.
Yeah.
Experiment, taking certain things out, adding certain things, always being cognizant of that. We do not play in the same register on the bass.
Yeah. That is pretty unique. I'm glad you brought up the double bass. So when I see you play, notice you have 4 strings. I'm not a musician. you have like 5.
I got 6 strings.
6. Yeah, like there's a lot of strings on there.
Yeah.
But that makes your sound a little bit more diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does. Because it's still a bass. It's a bass guitar. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm still in that bass range, but the upper register. But also, it's not guitar. Yeah. It's not way over the top. Yeah. I'm real cognizant of the tone that I use too when I'm playing with her. Yeah. The advantage of having all those strings is also I can hit notes lower than her. So if she ends on a note that's high, many times I'll grab the lowest note on the string and blend the two together. Yeah. So we're real cognizant about what we're doing and how we're trying to put this across. Yeah, I'm always looking at her hands and looking at what her voice is, where she's playing at on the bass. If she's playing here, I'm going. If she's playing here,
so that's the right compliment, almost like not the opposite, but it's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Yeah. It's the right compliment.
The right compliment.
You throw that in there. The right compliment to make it, because we want to make it work.
Yeah.
And it's about selling songs.
Yeah.
And our original material plus the cover material that we do, we're always cognizant about how to make this sound pleasing.
When it comes to your songwriting, is there any one of you that's more into it? What comes first, the lyrics or the melody? Tell us about your songwriting process.
Well, I have written the songs for our CDs. I mean, he's certainly done quite a bit of songwriting, but the ones that are on the CD are the ones that I've written, and then I bounce them off of him. And as far as which comes first, I'm always, probably as I'm driving down the road or whatever, some little catchphrase, you hear it or it pops up and it's like, that would be, a good hook for a song.
Yeah.
And so I go home and I write it down if I remember to. And, I have a whole page of just hooks that I've just thought of. That's like, oh, I bet I could make that into a song.
To a song, yeah.
So, but when I'm writing the actual lyrics, for me, I have to have, some idea of a melody to go along with it so that I know the words are fitting, not that I can't go back and rearrange that a little bit, but yeah, it just kind of comes at the same time for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that your first CD come out? Was it 2018?
16.
16 or 17 was.
I think we recorded in 16 and came out right at the beginning of 17. I believe so. Yeah.
So I got two questions involving playing music. What's your favorite original song to play? Or maybe one that's most requested, whatever. And then what's your favorite cover to play?
That's a really good question.
Ooh, wee.
That is a
I
really
some of those old blues covers too.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That is really, really tough. Yeah, it's tough. She's got one that written a few, but there's one that it's called Too Little Too Late, which is really, it's got a nice texture to it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy playing that one. I really do enjoy playing that tune a lot. And it's one of those things that just kind of lays itself out. And cover-wise, that's so tough, man.
There's just so much good music.
So much good music. It's hard for me to say which cover I would like to play most because I like a lot of them.
Yeah,
I really do. I like a lot, and the way we treat them too has a lot to do with how we treat some of them. Yeah.
One of the songs that I have written for our upcoming CD is probably the most requested. Kiss Me Like You Mean It.
Yes.
Yeah.
People have, the CD is not even out yet, and people request that almost every gig, which that, of course, makes me happy. In terms of a favorite, I wrote them, so it's a little, I kind of like all of them.
Yeah. Hey, that's good life advice, too.
It is. Like you mean it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Cover-wise, oh, my gosh.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh. I am a huge Bonnie Raitt fan. Huge. I love how she does Angel from Montgomery. I like when we do At Last together. No, that's not a Bonnie song, Etta James. Yeah. But that gets requested a lot as far as when we're out on gigs. Yeah.
So I retired 6 months ago. I got a little bit of free time.
Okay.
So I spent some time at the kitchen table in the morning checking on stuff, and all of a sudden I see, WGN News, 11:45 this morning. Looks like Mr. Darryl Wright's going to be on there with Stefan Hillshine. So I'm sit right there. I'm waiting for that thing to come on. You in your red coat, man.
Oh, yeah.
Styling. And you get
with the red shirts.
Red shirts. I know. I saw
red coat. Yeah.
It looks like a coat.
Revolution. Yeah, I'm thinking Revolutionary War. The red coats are coming.
The red coats are coming. Yeah.
But that was so great to see that. What's your you are a regular member of this stuff?
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. I've been in the bass chair for a while, but the one thing that we do, which is interesting about the whole music community, is that we have our own project, but it's nice to be amongst all these other people, which I call the A team. And when you can hire one of them, it's always great because it's a plus of all this talent on stage, and we do the same thing. So that's how we cover each other. Yeah. Like Steph had a job the other night that we had a job. He had to hire another bass player, but that's the way it works.
Yes.
But in the scheme of things, I'm the one who's recorded most of his CDs since he's been here. I'm the bassist that's on the disc. Yeah. Yeah. But performing live, we take care of our project. As long as we don't have a conflict of dates, everything works well. Everything works really well.
Last Sunday, you were at Buddy Guy's with that.
Oh, last Saturday.
Was that just you two?
Yes.
Yeah. How did that go?
It went really well.
Really well.
That dinner set, 5:30 to 8 is, it's actually really fun.
It is.
And we had a nice crowd, which I wasn't sure we were going to because it was the night before Easter. Yeah. But we did it. We had a nice crowd. And it was the first time we had done the two bass duo at Buddy's. And they loved it. We've been doing that duo for a long time.
What Mark said, the manager, he had never really heard us like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He said, don't hire no guitar player.
Yeah.
You guys are fine.
He's like, you don't need it. You
Because
don't need it.
it's got its own texture.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Yeah.
and we're real cognizant about the songs that we pick.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound too empty, or it doesn't sound like I'm just constantly just doing something
Yeah.
to show off.
Right.
No, we're trying to sell a product and sell some music
Yeah.
and listen to this voice first,
Mm-hmm.
then listen to the whole package, then listen to the whole package again and see what it is we're actually doing. So it was quite a compliment. We were glad.
Yeah.
We were really glad. Yeah.
Well, before I get to the last two fun hypothetical questions,
Okay.
I got the one question that I like to ask everybody. So, even though we're basking in this beautiful time right here and now, is there some other rung on your ladder of musical aspirations that you still want to reach for one day? Any wild dreams? Any things that you still wish you want to do before it's all over? I've heard young men say, hey, I want to open my own studio, this, that, and the other thing. But any...
You know, that's a really, really,
And some people
good
just
question.
just be right here and now.
That's a really, really good question. I really would like to take, there are recordings of my dad and his brothers when I was playing with them. I was like 13, 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And they have recordings that I'm on. I'd like to take those recordings, sample them into music that I've written, and then make a compilation of using their voices with the sound that I create. And I also found out that my cousin Jason is an engineer. And I'm trying to have this be family oriented because I come from a really large family. Yeah. I'm one of 56 grandkids. One of 56.
Yeah.
On one side. That's just on one side.
Yeah, I have 40.
See, you.
My grandfather sired 19 kids.
See, you know what I'm talking about, Paul.
Yeah.
If I can do, that is the project I would like to really put together and do.
Yeah.
In honor of what they gave me and sharing it with my family and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That is really what I would like to do. That's really high on my list.
Yeah.
And then I have a great vocalist here. So I know I can do exactly what it is I want to do. And a lot of members of my family, some of them are musicians. I got a couple of cousins that are really killer vocalists. It's a matter of me putting all the parts together and doing it. So that is really what's kind of high on my list. I was making notes about 2 or 3 days ago, writing it down of what songs I wanted to use and what samples, what I want sampled on there to use. And I'm going, okay, this will work in the world of sampling. Let's use technology to our advantage to sell what's already been done, but make it in a different presentation now. And also, I wanted to have a flavor that is not genre specific, so that you hear elements of other things taking place, and they're going, I wonder what genre it is. I want it to be no genre because I want it to be universal and accessible to everybody that's got ears.
I love that. I love that vision. That's awesome.
Yeah, I really would like to get that. Hopefully I can get that done.
Yeah.
You know, I keep
With
doing
your
little pieces.
or whoever it was, maybe he can help with that.
Oh, I know he can.
Yeah.
He's just released something online. I saw it. He got something he's getting ready to release, I think, in 2 days.
Nice.
How about you, Susan? Any aspirations you might have that are on your little list of things?
Sometimes I think yes, and I mean, first of all, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
There are times, you know, music has always been my second job. You know, I was a teacher, I was raising kids, and so I got to do it on the weekends, which was wonderful. But I never got to put as much time and effort into it as like he did because he was doing it full time. So, you know, I kind of missed out on that opportunity to maybe do a little touring, you know, or that kind of thing, which he's done so much of that he's tired of it, you know, but that's okay. I mean, it's fine. It's just, like, it's one of those, that would have been cool, you know, but
I just remember one other question before we get to the fun questions. Your son, or is it your stepson?
my son.
Yeah, he is an accomplished
Oh,
musician.
yes, he is.
Tell
Yes.
us a little, What's his name? Tell us a little bit.
Okay, his name.
Brag time.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping you were
Some
gonna.
of that in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, his name is Matt Williams.
Okay.
He's my youngest son, and he is a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was a teenager, he and one of his good buddies, who was a really good singer, they came up with the idea that they needed to start a band. So they did. And I think they first named it Crayon Minds, which I have no idea to this day where that came from. I mean, it does. It does. But, you know, I loved watching him because he was just as passionate about music as me. So then, they never stopped. They, you know, the band kind of changed and evolved and whatever. But several years ago, they decided to change the name of the band to Post Animal. And that is the name that they have been known by for many years. They have a lot of CDs out. They tour nationally and internationally. My son is doing so much better than me. I mean,
Doesn't that make you feel great?
Oh,
Kid?
it makes me feel so wonderful. And I think maybe that's why I don't care so much.
Yeah.
I don't ever get to tour because I'm watching him. I do.
Yeah.
And every time they come through Chicago, I get a free ticket to go, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they're doing absolutely wonderful. And they play nothing but original music. It's all original. And they have a huge following. Absolutely huge following. And I'm constantly impressed, you know, and like I said, when they come into town, of course, we go see them and of course their music has evolved over the years too. And I mean, it's always been, I guess rock and roll, but kind of, I would have called it alternative rock. He ended up calling it psychedelic rock. My son did. But now the last time we heard them, their music has really kind of evolved again to, I don't know if you want to say radio friendly. I mean, it's the kind of thing you think you can turn on almost any station and hear it. I don't know if that makes any sense, you know, but I mean, it's always been good. It's always been very melodic. They do a lot of harmonies. And even on guitars, they do a lot of guitar harmonies. Their music is so incredibly well thought out and planned. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. So yeah. They're just doing great.
Matt Williams and
Post Animal. Look them up if you have not.
Post Animal, for
now
sure.
It's time for the fun questions.
Okay. Good fun questions. We're ready.
So, if there was a venue anywhere in the world that you have not played, whether it's outdoor, indoor, whether it exists anymore or not, that you wish you could be on that stage once.
He's played all over the world,
for some people, I asked John Watkins that question, and he frankly said, "Man, and you know, he's been everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
John's been all over the world.
Yeah. So I learned some people you can't ask that question because you know, and other people are happy to say, "I'm Tinley Park," you know.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to play the Chicago Blues Fest at some point in the near future. You know, of course, he has. Well, we played it we played it for a few years. Rose's Lounge had a side stage. It wasn't on any of the big stages, you know, but we did on their little stage. Of course, I'd love to do that on a big stage. I don't know. I think we're in the same mindset as far as whatever you're doing, love it. Just love what you're doing right now, you know, and we do. I do, you know.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Without a doubt.
You know what? I just thought of another question in between regarding that. Blues performances in general. I'll ask this question to some bands, but I wonder about blues. Indoors or outdoors? I'm assuming blues are made to be played in a listening room, but how do you feel about playing outdoors? What is there a preference, or do you?
I don't have a preference as long as the weather's nice.
No, I really don't have a preference. I mean, indoors or outdoors would depend upon if it's indoors, the capacity of the venue.
Yeah.
If it's a huge venue, it's going to be like being outdoors because if you got 5,000 people in there, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But if you're inside in the venue and it's only 150, that's more intimate.
Right.
And that has its own type of presentation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would take either one, but there's something about an intimate performance that's different than 5,000 people.
Yeah.
You know,
Sean McKee told me something in an interview that I didn't really realize. He says some of the greatest performances I've ever seen were to an empty room. And
he's absolutely correct.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable.
That is true.
He's absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. You just
so the last fun question, and this is tough again, very hard to. So, but if you could trade places with another musician singer for a whole weekend, you could live their life on and off stage for a whole weekend and then go back. You know, is there any one person you kind of wish? Like, for instance, Eric Lambert says, I wish I could have been Dwayne Allman. I could have got into his mind. But is there anybody, or in the least, maybe a band where you could nudge somebody out and say, I want to play with that band just one time. And that band could still, you know.
Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I would love to see
that is really, really an interesting question. Yeah, because that's really so tough.
Isn't it?
I would yeah, it's really tough because a lot of those people that I think about and would have thought about playing with are my peers.
Yeah.
God. There's one guy in town that I have not done I did a little work with him with Jimmy Johnson. It's Rico McFarlane. He's a great guitar player, man. This dude just can play. Wilbur Crosby and singer and Wilbur Crosby. Now these two guys they're local, but they're world renowned. Mm-hmm. And Wilbur, I must admit, I shared the stage with Wilbur a lot with Mavis, but Rico, only a few jobs. And I say that in promotion of the talent that we have in our city. Mm-hmm. It's world class. Mm-hmm. It is world class. And Susan and I have talked about this many times. And I said that, you know, Susan, no matter what town I've ever been in, there was a world class musician. In a town of like 500. Yeah. There's one guy in that town. Yep. That's a fact.
That is a fact. Yeah.
And I honestly, guys like that, I would like to get in those towns and play with those people because that's something that a lot of the world doesn't get to see because they don't have the celebrity, but they have the skill set. Yeah. And that's really what I'd like to, you know, be involved with is people who have this texture that's their own that I could be a part of and intertwine. And being a bassist, it's like, oh, we learn how to get in and fit in and groove.
You know what? One tiny question. What does it mean to play in the pocket as a bass player? Again, I'm not a musician. What does that mean, play in the pocket? I heard somebody put that on Facebook the other day. I'm good playing in the pocket.
That is really, what that means is, honestly, you are part of a machine that's driving like this. Mm-hmm. You know how your car sounds when one of the valves goes out? The clack, the clack. Yeah. You're out of the pocket.
Okay. Gotcha.
You're out. So the song's not moving forward. Mm-hmm. The other thing about being in the pocket is that there are guys, because you have skill, you don't overplay. So an example.
The impression I got is I was within the context.
Exactly. So an example I'll give you is that if me and Susan are playing, shoot, the doom, the doom. That's the bass line. The doom. Once I start going, doom, the doom, okay, that sounds good to me, but I'm not supporting the song. Now I'm playing for me. Mm-hmm. That's destroying the pocket.
Thank you.
And part of being in the pocket too means you're locked in with the drummer.
I mean, big time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, the bass player and the drummer have to be locked in together, and they both have to be in the pocket. So if either one of them is not, then again, it sounds off.
Once you start self-serving yourself, once you start just serving yourself, you're not serving the song. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it becomes apparent. Now, there may be a guy out there who goes, God, man, he's playing just wonderful. There may be somebody else going, man, he's fucking that song up.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
He's fucking that song.
Exactly.
Me and Susan have seen it. We go,
true,
man, he's killing this song and has great skill.
Yeah. And here I am, the typical guy. I know Marty Mercer. I took a video of him once, and he says, Paul, I was horrible that day. I'm like, I don't know. It's my favorite song. You know, I'm like, no, you know.
We like Marty. That's another one. We like Marty. Yeah.
So before we wrap it up, let's tell everybody how to follow the Wright Group. What are your next upcoming, here's your chance to, what's going on with the Wright Group coming up?
Well, actually this Friday,
yes,
we're playing at Lencioni's in Linwood. From 6:30 to 10.
Yes.
And we host another jam in Mantino the last Sunday of every month.
40?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
back 40.
that's back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. 4 to 7. And Andy Duncanson, who, if you don't know him, look him up too.
Yes.
I've known him since he was 20 years old.
Yeah,
He
he's in
lives.
town now.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to play at Austin's tomorrow
Yeah.
or Saturday night.
night.
Saturday night. But he's from Champaign, and he has the most incredible blues voice
Yeah.
I think I've ever heard.
And that's
It's
about-
very distinctive. Yeah.
We've recorded with Andy.
Right.
So we've done recordings with Andy.
So he drives up from Champaign, and we come from Stager and kind of meet in the middle and host a jam, and then we use a different drummer each time, and then he brings his buddy Michael Peliquin, who is a amazing saxophone player and harp player. So we have a hoot and holler with that. We really do. So those two jams are certainly the, crux of what we do. But we also play at House of Blues in Chicago every month.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I couldn't tell you, it's the third Thursday or it's just, but there is some date every month that they give us. Sometimes it's just the duo. Sometimes it's the full band.
Yeah.
We love them. They're so nice there. So that's another really regular place. And then,
Your social media platform.
okay.
She's getting ready to get to that.
Okay.
I'm sorry to mean that.
No,
No,
that's
you're good.
okay.
You are on point.
I don't want,
Yeah.
I don't want to forget. So on Facebook, it still says Susan Williams Band because I made the page before we became, the Right Groove, but it's easy for people to remember if we're on a gig.
Yeah.
And so then of course that's same on Instagram at Susan Williams Band. Very easy to remember. And then for people that don't have Facebook or Instagram, we do have a website, which is just written out Susan Williams and the rightgroove.com. Wright is with a W because it's his last name. So Susan Williams and the rightgroove.com. So it's nothing fancy, but I do keep the events on there. So that's another way, to always know where we're going to be playing.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is going to wrap up. Wow. I'm so glad this has been in the works for a
Thank
couple
you.
weeks or whatever.
Thanks, Paul, for sure.
I'm so glad we finally
Absolutely,
found the time.
man.
This
We're
was
glad.
Really,
We're really glad.
awesome.
Oh, you can hear us on Spotify too. We're on Spotify,
Spotify,
Pandora, YouTube,
and Amazon Music.
and Amazon.
There you go.
Right.
And
There's
Amazon
no
Music
reason
as well.
you cannot follow the Susan Williams band.
That is
You're
true.
Right. And
Absolutely.
So,
That's true.
well, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of the Hometown Musician Spotlight. And until next time,
Thank you all much.
peace, everybody.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.